right now, Elsie.
Everyone knows I like puppets. It's not like a hidden fact. And like just because like maybe the Ant-Man is doing a little marionette dance. Y'all seen Gamer? You guys remember the movie Gamer? With like Michael C. Hall?
Mm-hmm.
You remember Q, you remember in the end and he made them do the little dance?
Yeah.
That's so hot, man.
Okay.
Peak cinema.
I disagree.
Okay, well you can be wrong and that's okay.
We literally just watched Sinners on Saturday. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Also, there's some hot shit in that too. Like
cinema.
You remember when fucking she spit in his mouth?
Oh my god.
Jesus.
I say I'm gonna get us demonetized.
And just
Wait,
some
there were
freak
other
shit.
things that we discovered this weekend that we could say that would get us demonetized, but we're not gonna go into that.
You should just go see Sinners.
But we could.
We could,
But
but
we
we
could.
won't.
Can't do that. Steph, you just don't, you be on my side. Just say we can't say that on here.
Don't agree, Steph, don't agree.
It's a trap.
Majority rules. Majority rules, the rest of us think that we can say it.
Kill all of you.
Just go.
I'm just
Let's
trying
go.
not to say it myself.
Do it. Coward.
I respect your impulse control, Elsie.
I'm just saying.
I do feel like I
We
should
have-
jump in to
have
save you
no
from
proof.
yourself right now.
We have no proof that we didn't get our powers from it, and that's all I'm saying.
Oh. oh, now I remember.
Yep. Yep.
They said
No,
never.
9/11.
They said never forget, but
No.
We were all born after 9/11. There's no proof we did not get our powers from 9/11.
That might actually be complicated with Scylla.
What? No,
Well-
Scylla.
She doesn't know when she was
Oh, you don't know how
born.
old you are.
Was she a baby? She's like 18? Question mark.
Question mark.
Question mark.
Question mark. Uh-huh.
Oh my god. I'm gonna kill myself.
While Elsie is suffering, I'm gonna throw this over to Kian to do the channel intro if they are up for this.
Give me 1
Because
second.
we are having a time today.
Give me
Why are
1
you
second.
typing so much?
Because I'm trying to get into fucking Twitch. I hate how you have to reset your password. Hold on.
holding
We're
on.
holding.
Okay, I can keep
Elsie,
talking if you.
Yeah, any other
Yeah,
words
Yes,
of wisdom? I
please.
can't save you. I'm sorry.
Okay, I won't continue this thought as to why we might have gotten our powers from 9/11 because the rest of it will just be ridiculing me and my character, which happens with or without me.
That's true.
It's true. In other news, I will be taking applications for Kian to do the next part of this intro so I can stop talking.
Thank you so much.
Your application's been accepted. Congratulations. You got the role.
Woohoo! This is the greatest day of my life, better than when I got into college. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to hang out on Entropy Emporium. This is pretty much what we do here, so I'm glad that you are here to see it. A couple of quick things about Entropy Emporium before we get started. First and foremost, we are raising money for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. We know why this is important. It's not going to stop being important if you do not have the means to be able to donate. We completely understand, and we want you to take care of yourselves. So continue to spread the word, continue to speak up and speak out, show up however you can. The other thing is that we do have a Discord. If you like what we do, if you want to come and see what it is that we do when we're not on air, which is pretty much the same thing as what you have seen today, come and join our Discord server. We like to love on each other. We like to post pictures of our pets. We like to share recipes. It's just a really good, fun place to vibe and hang out. I'm going to go over channel shows at the end of it, so I will hand it back to JD for now.
JD was getting distracted for a moment. I apologize for that. So, hello everyone. Welcome. This is They Call Us Villains, and this is episode 20, Blood on Your Hands. Despite what my lovely players are yelling as they are muted and or typing in chat. That is the title. There is a reason, and we're going to find out why I am right and why they are wrong about their innocence. There is blood. Why are you giving me that look, Steph?
You're innocent. Fuck you.
My players love me. So, before we jump in, as a reminder, if you have never caught this game before, one, you might be very confused because this is episode 20 and a lot has happened, but also to remind you, there are a few pieces of content warnings. And so this game includes content of institutional violence, forced institutionalization, medical abuse, psychological abuse, and gaslighting are likely going to be pretty relevant for tonight's session. There can also be themes in line with real world conversion therapy, body horror, gore, and blood. Those will also be very relevant for tonight, as will the use of isolation, seclusion, and sedation, references to use of restraints, specifically in a more superhero setting of power dampeners and things like that. There may also be references and talking about bad, toxic, and emotionally abusive parenting, unreality, references to child abuse, and potentially, as sometimes comes up, some betrayal. I will be, as always, using our safety tools with the cast, doing check ins with them throughout, but we always encourage you, if any of those would cross lines, or you're just not in a place for that type of content tonight, to do what you need to take care of yourself, to take time away from this screen and either join us when you're in a place to be watching this game, or to look at some of the other content we have here, some of which does not involve such heavy materials. All right. I'm going to have our cast go around and introduce themselves and their character and their character's playbook. You might have noticed we are missing Mara for this first part of tonight's session. Harp will be joining us, fingers crossed, as tonight goes on. We will have an ETA on her arrival. But with that, since I already picked on Kian, I'm going to go in reverse. Elsie, you are up first.
I was yelling at Kian. I'm upset. Anyways, hi, I'm Elsie. I'm optimistic on all social media. I use she, they pronouns, and so does Ellie Ellison, who I play. I use the Protege playbook. Yeah. What do you mean betrayal, JD?
I just said that is one of our pieces of content warning.
Can we not have it? Personal
we can
preference.
Consider it.
I feel like when you say that, you're like, nah, I'm gonna do it anyway. She's gonna love it.
I find it ironic that you are the one asking me for this, given the ideas you pitched for your character. I'm just saying.
Okay, wait a second. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Hannibal will. Oh no betrayal.
I see what you mean now.
Why?
And I wasn't talking about that one. And you know what? You can go to the next person because you got me there. Shit. You got me on that one, dude.
Steph, you are up next.
Hi, I'm Steph. Tonight I am playing Scylla Tarn. Is she of the Doomed playbook? She's done nothing wrong ever in her life, neither have her friends. And yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm one away from filling my Doom track.
I love that
Yay!
for you.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Huh?
I have 4 out of 5 slots on my Doom track filled, so when it gets filled, I can take another Doomed move and move closer to my Doom.
No.
Okay.
Uh-huh. It's fun.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine. Also, I just want to say, yes, Lion, maybe betrayal is just a love language. You are correct.
Yeah.
Elsie, I'm not sure I agree with what you followed that up with.
That is a line from Hard Eyes. So killing is a kink. In Hard Eyes.
I'll allow
I don't
it.
support it. I don't support it.
You don't support what?
Your kink is not my kink. I don't support killing as a kink. I'm gonna stop talking.
You don't?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
I do have questions.
I don't have to justify myself.
The Hard Eyes stan doesn't. Okay. All right.
My
What are we
favorite
doing?
part of the
here?
movie were not the killer. First of all, jot that down. It was Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding and their chemistry. And thank you very much. That's it.
Scream
Uh,
Queen.
Yeah.
but Elsie, Casey and Gray.
Thank you.
That's because shit.
Yeah.
You are really losing these arguments tonight.
Mhm.
I don't have a
This
leg
bodes
to
well.
stand on in these arguments. I get myself
You
into.
sure don't.
It's like I just have to commit to the bit and argue.
You know what? That's fair. I love that you have taken hills and you're ready to die on every single one of them.
I will.
I-
I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
No, it is always delightful, Elsie. Never change. All right, Q, I am tagging you in.
Hi, I'm Q, everyone's favorite neighborhood cowboy maker. He, him. Tonight I'm going to be playing Mr. Connor Creed, team leader, saddest, angriest boy in all of Hemlock. He is the transformed playbook. Were we talking about anything special about our people right now?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
cool. Perfect. Then yeah, that's Connor. Also he, him.
And I do have to say, Connor has never done anything wrong ever in his life.
That is not true. But thank you so much.
I'll lie for that. I'm
And you know
fine
what?
with that.
You know, that's fair. I'll take it. He's definitely done wrong, but he meant well.
Any jury
Yeah.
would say he was justified.
Ooh.
It absolutely did not.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So
I would, if I was
So-
on the jury, I would say he was justified. I would say everybody's justified here, to be real.
especially right now.
That is fair. All right, and last but certainly not least, Kian.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. I use any and all pronouns because gender is not real. I am playing Valen, last name redacted, who uses they, he pronouns, and who is the Beacon Playbook. And I think that that's all that you need from me right now. I hope that's all I got.
And just, as a reminder to everyone, the Beacon Playbook is the playbook without power.
I have never had powers a day in my life. All right.
Okay, except
My boy is in here under false pretenses. All
Okay,
right.
no, if we're all lying, I guess you just wanted to be included, huh?
You came back from the dead.
You almost killed me.
That was the Antler Man. I had nothing to do with coming back from the dead. That was the Antlers. I don't know how that happened. That was certainly not Valen's powers. Jesus Christ, if that was Valen's powers, I'm gonna freak out.
Fucking Deku ass heaven.
No, shut up. It's not Deku. I hate that.
this is going well.
This is going so well. Tonight is going to be interesting. So, with that, I am JD, pronouns he, they. I will be playing everyone else, and we'll see who that includes for tonight. We see a television screen. Not that television screen. Not that one. Quite yet. Though who knows when we may need to return to that room and that space and the person you left beyond the screen. But no, these are basic, straightforward monitors. The kind used for surveillance, the kind that the staff at Hemlock use to look at what is going on, to track what is happening in different wings of the hospital. And right now, to look at the black and white, grainy footage of 6 people standing sitting, kneeling, laying in the midst of what can only be described as carnage. We see Mara already bleeding from her nose start to fall. And we see the rest of you standing there as the alarms start to blare. And I'm wondering, as we look over the group, what do we see? What do we see when we look at our team leader, Connor? They are covered in blood and not for the first time. And what is going through Connor's head?
I think things are processing very quickly for him, looking to make sure no one of his is dead and bleeding. Once he realizes we're all alive, I think he's going to very carefully, very slowly, very deliberately get down onto his knees. He's going to put hands behind his head just to mitigate any of the tension that is clearly going to happen here, just because there are a bunch of dead bodies around us. And I don't know. We don't know exactly what happened. We know what we remember, and we know what we see right now. So we just gotta do our best to not make it worse for us right now. Before he puts his hand up behind his head, I want to, if you'll allow, because I have the knife. I want to sort of transmute my flesh around it, like on my thigh, to hide the knife.
Okay. I think that will still be an Unleash Your Powers roll unless you have a move that would fit for that.
I certainly do not. The Transformed is all about smash. Finesse is not typically on his. Okay, perfect. That is 10.
And with that, Connor, yes, you absolutely are able to do that. And it's strange, even in this moment of heightened stress is barely capturing it. But even in this moment when you're having to think quickly, having to consider all of these factors and options and what to do, it's almost like that obsidian knife wanted to become a part of you, because it's as simple as just resting it there and your body does the rest.
Got it. Okay, everyone, take the same position. We don't need to fight this right now. We're gonna be okay. And I do want to be very clear. Hold on, is Valen awake?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm looking directly at Valen when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
I need us to be so for real right now. That is directly at Valen, but said to the group as a whole.
And I do think that's perfect, because I was already going to say I think Valen is the person we automatically pan to in response to that. So what do we see from them?
I think before Connor says or does anything, Valen is kind of patting at their chest because they were just gored by this creature, and now the wounds are healed. So they're kind of patting and making sure that there are no wounds there. And then initiate lockdown comes on. And I think that Connor, if you weren't initially looking at Valen, your eyes would have been attracted there anyway because Valen starts to like get ready to bolt. Valen is ready to sprint and run because this cannot be happening again. Um it's so soon to in that memory when lockdown was initiated when Valen had been breaking into that building. And so I think that that's where he kind of gets stuck is just thinking about what happened last time. Um, and then Connor starts to do what Connor does. And I think if this was even 24 hours ago, Valen would have sprinted, but for better or for worse, these are his people now. Um, and so Valen obliges and kneels down and holds their hands up. Uh, there's a sex joke in there somewhere that I'm not gonna make. Um, and I think I don't think Valen says anything. I think that I'm completely speechless right now because it was one thing when it was these strange, nightmarish creatures that were coming at us. Valen has recognized that there's some weird shit that happens here that they can't explain, that doesn't make sense to him. But that's very different from waking up to gore and blood all around you. And so I think that that has stunned Valence into silence for perhaps the first time ever in their entire lives. They will shut the fuck up and do as they are told because they don't know what else to do right now but to follow Connor's instincts.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think that also speaks to, despite the carnage around you, some of these developments in the past not even 24 hours of Connor being a trusted leader and Valen, of all of the team members, being willing to follow his instructions. What do we see when we move over to Scylla holding that antler in her hands?
Scylla's just kind of frozen, trying to process what happened. This is not what was happening. There are body parts everywhere. This is new. She's covered in blood. Her friends are covered in blood. This is new. And she hates this. And she's just kind of like in shock, just kind of staring at the hallway, just like clutching the antler to her chest, just like shaking and trying not to freak out more than she already is.
What does she do in response to Connor's instructions?
And she just kind of is like, she doesn't respond right away because she's never been covered in blood, surrounded by body parts before. And it just takes her like several seconds to process. Connor spoke and just kind of look at him and look at what he's doing. And she can't really make her body move that way because of the shock, which is new. So she just kind of flops down back against the wall and just kind of draws her knees up to her chest and just sits very, very small.
Scylla, you had said you've never been surrounded by blood and gore and body parts before.
Correct. Fuck you.
I didn't even finish my sentence.
I saw your face.
I could have finished that sentence with, and you're right. This
Okay,
is the first
say
time I
that.
could have said that. I'm not going to say that, but I could have. Scylla, you have that thought, and almost immediately following it is that's not true.
Shut up.
And you see a flash, just these images of what looks like you can't really tell because it's not really beyond what the scope of whoever's eyes could see at that point, but it looks almost like a cave. It's dimly lit. The floor and what you can see of the walls are earthen, and it looks almost exactly like this. There's blood, there's bodies.
It's not mine. Stop it. This isn't the time. Stop it.
And I think as well, Scylla, in that moment where those flashes of images come, you don't realize it until you kind of shake your head and those images stop. But you moved in into the same position as Connor and Valen. You knelt down, you put your hands up, but you don't remember doing that. And Connor, if you are looking at Scylla in that moment, you see her eyes go blank and her body move almost as if someone else was controlling it.
Scylla, you okay?
No, I don't like this.
I know. We're gonna be all right.
I don't remember moving. Is that normal?
Nothing about this situation is normal.
Okay, I was just
Okay.
making sure.
Hey, look at me. We're gonna get out of this.
Okay. I might throw up.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to be mean to Scylla or Connor ever a day in my life.
And yet you keep doing it.
And yet here we are.
And yet here we are. Meanwhile, our sixth member of the team, one Milo, is first kind of looking at his hands, both because they're covered in blood, but also because he's realizing that obsidian knife was there a moment ago and now he can't find it. And there's a bit of panic over that, not because he would use the knife, but because if it's not there, where is it? So he then lets that go, seeing what all of the rest of you are doing, and follows suit, like not sure what's going to happen to him now that he's caught in the middle of this. And he is looking directly at you, Ellie. What does he see when his panicked eyes meet yours?
I think before Ellie even got on her knees to assume the position that everybody else is of surrender, that she took a moment, because this is nothing she's ever been trained for. Nothing, no simulation has ever put her in a situation where she's been covered in blood, surrounded by viscera of various people who were once employees here. But it's more like a shell shock reaction of like someone in battle who has now just seen their entire platoon exploded all around them, but they need to survive. But knowing one of them is still alive, which is in her eyes Milo to her, because she knows everybody else is somewhat accustomed to this life and weirdness in Hemlock. And I think she like stumbles forward as best she can to get to him, And when he gets down on his knees, kind of drops to her own and like puts her hands on his face and is just like, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna make sure it's okay that you are okay. I'm gonna make sure that you're okay. And it kind of divulges into just, I'm going to make sure that you're okay, because she knows the rest of us are fucked. But he has no business being there. He has no powers. He has no role in this. So it's just like her hands are like visibly shaking until she drops them to her side and then puts them behind her head and looks back at Connor and gives him a small nod.
And Milo is just looking desperately at you, Ellie, and saying, what is all of this? It wasn't like this. It wasn't.
It's,
oh my god, are those people?
Stop asking questions, Milo. It's better that you don't ask questions, because you're just going to get more questions as answers. They're not going to tell you anything. They're not going to tell us anything. Just all you can do is pretend you don't know anything. And you'll get to go, hopefully.
I'm not pretending I don't know anything. I don't understand any of this.
You know what?
That's
fine.
fine.
That's fine. Just don't look for more answers. The more you know, the worse it'll probably be.
And Milo asks, kind of looking between all of you, what's gonna happen to all of you? And that's when you hear the footsteps coming towards you.
Okay. We're gonna go to ISO. Everyone, we know what we saw. We know what happened. Don't let them tell us otherwise.
Scylla chomps off a tiny corner of the antler.
I love you all.
Love you.
We're gonna be okay. Milo, breathe. Thank you.
Breathing.
Slowly.
And at that point, a bunch of guards surround the six of you. And we see you all being marched towards the isolation wing. Don't worry about it, Elsie. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And we pan back to see that once again we are watching it through the security cameras. And we hear a voice, one recognizable as Misty, say, "The footage is ready, Dr. Foxglove." And Dr. Foxglove says, "Good. It's time to show them what really happened." And as my cast is yelling at me, all muted, we are going to skip a little bit of time because a number of things happen. Not much, just the getting you all back to ISO, fitting some of you, not all of you, with some of the power dampening bracelets that they have. In fact, I think the only two with those bracelets on are Connor and Valen. Not Scylla, not Ellie, potentially Mara, but we'll figure that out when we see her. And I'm curious for Valen, when they go to affix those bracelets on you, What's your reaction to the cuffs?
Is it just cuffs?
Mhm.
Okay. Because I think Valen would have had a different reaction if it was more. I mean, Valen's not going to go quietly with anything. But I think noticeably, Valen just keeps asking, like, what the fuck is this for? What the fuck is going on? I don't need this, but never actually says the words, I don't have powers, I'm not like them, which are the excuses that he would have used before. And he doesn't actually say any of that. I don't think he can bring himself to say it. If the orderlies are not particularly attentive, Valen probably hits one of them in the face, is able to get a swing in. Because he's not here to make their lives easy, and he's not having a good time, so nobody else should be having a good time either. Is kind of the way Valen
That's
operates.
valid.
Um, so yeah, I think there's a lot of fighting, but it also seems a little bit, I think that, and this is a slight content warning for anybody in watching who might have opinions about dissociation, but I think that there is a certain level of dissociation happening right now that Valen has kind of had to remove himself from what is happening and is kind of going on autopilot. I know I don't want this, so I'm going to try and fight my way out of it, but it's kind of like the fight's been taken out of him at this point.
And so, Valen, this does bring up an interesting question as you are trying to process everything that has happened and is happening. When you feel those cuffs on you, one thing that immediately crosses your mind is, what is this supposed to feel like? Because it doesn't feel like anything. And you're not sure because, of course, being the one without powers, this is never something that you've encountered like this before. But there's this recognition of, this isn't doing anything to me. I don't feel any different. I don't feel like anything's suppressed. It just feels neutral.
I I genuinely don't think I have any commentary on that. I think I'm a little stunned. I think that similarly, Valen is a little stunned. Like, I'm probably there's a part that hurts him a little bit of like, fuck, have I already lost something that I didn't know I had? But I think that he is a little stunned into silence at it. Either because he's not sure if his powers are gone again or dormant or whatever it is that happens whenever he can't access them, or part of it is also, I am not going to let on to anybody that things don't feel like they're actually tamped down for me. That's just going to kind of go sit in the back pocket for right now.
I think that's very valid. What about for Connor? What is his reaction?
I actually think that he's going to ask them very calmly to not give him the cuffs. Um, I I understand that I am viewed as a threat. I give you my word that I'm not going to harm anyone, especially because you're putting me in isolation. Please don't put the cuffs on me so that I can have some semblance of control. I'm worse without the
There,
powers.
Connor, you are pleading your case, and of the two orderlies in the room with you, you can see that one of them, maybe they're newer, maybe they're here for a long time and kind of jaded, but either way your words do seem to hit them, and they glance at the other one and say, I mean, he's calm. And the other one immediately says, did you not see what he just did? Dr. Foxglove ordered us to do this. We don't have a choice. He's dangerous.
Anyone is dangerous. You're going to have a door between me and you. I just don't want to hurt while I'm waiting. Please.
Connor, I think I'd like you to roll to persuade an NPC. If I am
Okay.
remembering, that is an actual role that exists. It's the one in my mind right now.
I feel like that's... Hold on. Provoke someone?
Yes. I would.
Okay. Oh no. Well, wish me luck, gang. So that's a potential. No.
Oh, Connor, I wanted to give you a chance.
No, that's so fair and valid. Listen, I'm at a -1 superior, and I'm currently guilty. So,
And so, Connor, you do make a good argument despite everything that is happening, but that orderly who said that this was Foxglove's orders, he's not being dissuaded. And it doesn't take long for the other one who is, looking at him and saying, like, come on, man, like, he doesn't have to suffer. Like, it's fine. The other one's just like, absolutely not. Foxglove's orders. He's a patient, not your friend. Treat him as we're meant to treat them.
like prisoners.
Like you deserve.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already going in the cuffs. So I would like to put the fear of God in him before I go.
Absolutely. Please do.
Cool beans.
Let's do it.
Just moving so quickly. Like the hand that has the cuff, I'm just going to take it and hold it just to the point of breaking. I deserve a chance. But that's not what I'm here for. I just wanted a moment, since we're still playing you and Foxglove's games. Just know, I'll go in the cuffs, since those were your orders and I'd hate to get you fired. But know that I didn't, and just twisting it just ever so much. Know that I didn't have to go quietly. And I'm going to let his hand go. And then just hold out my hands for the cuffs.
You absolutely do put the fear of God in him. He steps back as soon as he's able and says, "Fucking freak," and then looks at the other orderly and says, "You do it." And Connor, the other orderly, moves to you. And you notice that when he puts the cuffs on, they're not quite latched.
Just walking backwards, looking at the orderly that was talking shit until I'm at my door to ISO. Then I just step right in. I think I might have to do a powers roll if this is okay with you. I'm going to look like my human self because the stone does go away when my powers are gone. So I have to look like original me. So we are going to roll for that.
I think that makes perfect sense. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. 8 plus 3. Sorry. Nope. That's 10 plus 3 is 13.
Absolutely, Connor. You make it look like you've been depowered, and no one except that orderly who did not fit the cuffs on you fully is any the wiser.
Okay. Then I go inside.
And how about Scylla? Scylla, who I believe has never been in ISO.
No, because the first time she was involved in a fight was Connor protecting her from Casey and Grace, so it was self-defense, so she wasn't put in ISO. So she doesn't like it. It's dull. There are not a lot of things to chew on, which is stressful. I mean, she still has her necklace to chew on, but because I'm assuming the antler was taken away.
Yes,
Yeah.
the antler was absolutely taken away.
Minus the piece she chewed off in her stress. But she is very much does not like it. She cannot see her friends. The rooms are what, padded? Is there furniture in them? Like,
There is basically a mattress, and that is about it.
gross. She hates this. This is the worst room she's ever been in her life.
Yeah,
And she is
you can't even
very
really get
sad.
like the edge of the room or anything like that. You can't even chew on that.
This is really mean. Yep, so Scylla is just kind of uncomfortable, very on edge, very vulnerable, very much, I have no safe place to tuck away. I hate this, and I want my friends.
Scylla, you are in your room when Dr. Oleander actually walks in, and she has a look of deep, deep concern, though she is not approaching you with any indication of fear or trepidation.
Scylla instinctively backs away when she enters the room just because she doesn't know what's happening and is trying to obviously make it look like I'm not scary.
And Dr. Oleander, is carrying a tablet, as many of the staff are when they have meetings with you. And she's looking down at it with her brow furrowed before she looks up and asks, "Well, Scylla, this is I dare say this is out of character for you. What happened tonight?
Power went out, and there were the hoofbeats. We were separated from Ellie because she had a visitor. And that thing was back, only it had more antlered people that attacked us. We had to defend ourselves because no one else was there. But when we did, and the lights came back on, they didn't look like the antler people anymore. They looked like bodies of workers, and that's not what happened. And I don't understand why it changed.
You said there were antler people. What do you mean by that?
They were shadowy figures with antlers. I yanked one off of it, remember? I was holding it when they took us to ISO. It came from one of their heads.
And Dr. Oleander looks all the more concerned when she hears that. You believe that was an antler you were holding, Scylla?
I know it was. I felt it. Why are you trying to trick me? I liked you.
I'm not trying to trick you, Scylla.
Then is someone tricking you?
I have footage of the incident right here.
I saw the incident.
Did it look like this? And Dr. Oleander holds out the tablet, and you see yourself on the back of one of the nurses, ripping and tearing at their ear. And you see that being the item you hold up in almost triumph, rather than the broken piece of antler you remember.
No, that's not what happened. That's not real. I can tell the difference between an antler and an ear. I'm not stupid. So who's lying to who? 'Cause I'm not lying to you.
All right, Zilla, I understand what you remember of the event. But I have to ask, do you think this is like what brought you here?
No,
How do you know?
no one got hurt. No one was missing, no one was dead, everyone was fine.
But what people remembered and what actually happened, those were different.
If I was going to make myself forget, why would I make myself forget with something just as scary?
I don't know, Scylla.
I wouldn't.
I
don't want to be scared.
I don't want you to be scared either. I just want us to figure out what's happening together.
Did they fake Noah's footage too?
Hey, Scylla, I'd like you to roll to pierce the mask.
Ooh! What did I roll with that?
Yes.
Mundane. Okay, okay. That's
I
not
believe
bad.
in you.
Please be nice to me. And that does not. What is afraid effect? Is it mundane? Please say no.
I think it's danger, but I might be
Oh.
wrong.
No, what is that effect? Oh wait, I found it. Directly engage. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So no, not mundane. Okay, so that is that's an 8.
Awesome. All right, so Scylla, with that, you can ask one question. You can ask, what are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? Or how could I gain influence over you? Or a separate question of your choosing.
How could I gain influence over Dr. Oleander?
I think that makes sense for the moment that is happening here, because Scylla, you say that, and I don't know if you intend to spark a reaction from Dr. Oleander when you do. But when you bring up Noah's footage, when you have been so adamant about this footage not being real, you see a moment of hesitation, a flicker of doubt. And I think that in essence answers that question. In that moment, you've gotten some influence over Dr. Oleander, because maybe she's faking it, but I don't think you think so. There's something in that reaction where it wasn't planned. It's not her trying to show you, you can trust me, I'm on your side. It's her doubting what she's been told about Hemlock and things that are going on. And you're pretty sure that if you're careful, you can use that to continue to chip away at that allegiance to Hemlock.
Cool. Noted. Well, if something is hiding here and hunting us, I hope you can keep us safe. I don't want me and my friends to end up like Nova did.
And Dr. Oleander says, I don't want any of you to end up like Noah either. I know this is your first time in ISO, Scylla, and I know it's scary to be in this part of the unit, but you have always been very well behaved. You have not caused any problems, and I have no doubt will get you. And there's a pause, but she does add, and your friends out as soon as we can assure everyone's safety.
Okay. Thank you.
And with that, we move over to our other team member, Ellie, who has absorbed four different powers, if I'm recalling.
Yeah.
How is Ellie holding up so far?
um, I don't know which panic has set in first. The panic that she's going to ISO because she is also a team member who has never gone to ISO and took a lot of pride in that. And is trying to quell a panic attack about that. But she can't tell if the anxiety of her heart racing is because of that or the changes that her body is going through on the DNA level. So I would say externally, she's trying to look calm for Milo. But I would say since they've known each other since childhood, that's pretty hard to do. But there are beads of sweat that are forming to start like dripping down her forehead, making streaks in the blood she's covered in. And I think every so often she like misses a step and kind of like one leg gives out, but she quickly corrects that as if nothing's wrong. And her hands are trembling. And that's how it's going. But she hasn't vomited yet, so.
That is a positive. I do think though, Ellie, you realize very quickly that Milo is being taken right along with all of you. There's, I think, a few moments where you're wondering, are they going to take him to a separate interrogation room or something like that? But then you realize, you look at the number of doors and it's very clear to you there's nothing except the rooms that are here. And he is being led to one right across the way from the one you are being led to. And that is the point where, while he has been taking as deep and slow breaths as he can, that starts to falter. And he starts to ask the orderlies, why am I going in there? I don't have powers. I'm not even supposed to be here. I was just visiting. I didn't do anything wrong.
Ellie like stops dead in her tracks, like, and it like corroborates what he's saying. It's like, he's not supposed to be here. What are you guys doing? He doesn't have powers. I've known him since I was like 5.
And one of the orderlies says, he was involved. We need to know exactly what happened, and we need to know how dangerous he is.
Okay, he was involved by being there because I was protecting him from whatever the fuck attacked us. If you want to interview him in one of the rooms that you used when the set visited us, but don't fucking put him in here. Are you kidding me?
One of the orderlies, not the one with Milo, but the one with you, Ellie, kind of like stops short a bit and looks surprised. And like, you can vaguely maybe recognize them. You're not entirely sure. There are both somehow a lot of people who work here and not many, all at the same time. And they just ask, like, incredulously, not, combatively or anything like that. Ellie, are you talking back to us?
I wouldn't call it talking back when you're defending something that's right. Do you have something interesting to say that is wrong? And then we can call it talking back.
This isn't like you.
Well, a lot of things aren't like what I was told this place would be when I came in. So there's only so much that I'm willing to put up with before I start asking questions. Or talking back to people who don't know how to do their job right, considering the fact that apparently a lot of people got butchered and we had nothing to do with it, and yet here we are. Once again, incarcerating the wrong people. And asking no questions at that. So take him out of there, bring him to a different interrogation room, and put me in the cell.
And several of the orderlies involved in this look shocked, but one of the ones that is with Milo just shakes his head and says, "You don't make the orders," and continues to move Milo into the room.
I would like. Are they trying to shut the door?
Yes.
I would like to stop it with telekinesis or superhuman strength. I don't know which one requires a roll and not. I don't know if transmuting strength or inhuman strength is just passive or not.
I would say in this case, any of this would involve using a roll.
Great. Cool. It's fine. I don't have
Unleash your powers.
I don't have any more conditions. Okay. So that is freak. I did not choose these dice today, so maybe they will work. Yo, let's go. That's 10. So
I am impressed with your dice for
I did not
behaving
touch
this
them
time.
first. I did not touch them first. Somebody else picked them for me, and I'm gonna have to do that every single time I play now.
You know what? I think that is very valid and right, and I support that because, yeah, Ellie, you are able to shut the door before they can get Milo into the room.
I think every part of her that looked actually intimidating in that moment of talking back to them, and the strength in her voice is gone when she stumbles to use like that last bit to like on the door, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be sick." Anyways,
And one of the orderlies with you is just like, did you just do that?
no.
Oh, so it was the wind.
Yeah, it's kind of chilly in here. Guess you'll have to take them back.
And the orderly shakes his head and says, "There's plenty of other rooms."
How
Continues
aware?
to move Milo down the hall.
How aware am I of my other abilities, like the ones that I took from like Scylla?
You can feel those. It's almost like this feeling of them moving under your skin.
Okay.
In the case of some of them, it's almost like you can see them, like there's a ripple.
Mm.
With others, it's more just being able to sift through and recognize that's here, that's with me, and I'm holding it.
Okay. I would like to unleash my powers again.
Okay.
Because I would like to narrate this in a way that when she said, yes, it was the wind, that she felt something like that ripple that felt a little bit more commanding. That was not just her own voice. And I think she wants to try and use it again as they try to make Milo move away from her. So let's see if I can go 2 for 2. If not, I just fuck myself. That's fine. 9.
Okay. All right, Ellie. So you feel that moment of command, and there's something in that where you're able to trace it back, and it feels almost like a pool of water inside of you. You know it isn't yours. You know you're borrowing it. But you also know you can use it. And so I want you to tell me, Ellie, with a 9, is this something where you're going to mark a condition for it to be steady, or something where you want me to tell you how it's unstable or temporary?
Oh, I just got rid of all my conditions. I think it's actually more appropriate for it to be unstable or temporary, given her state of being unstable at the moment. So I'll go with unstable or temporary instead of taking a condition.
So, what do you say to them in this moment when you use this power?
I know that Scylla's power is memory stuff in this instance.
Has Scylla told you that?
No, but Elsie knows that.
And I think with this, you're actually in the space of just having a moment of realizing, I actually don't know where this came from. I've touched so many different
Yes.
people.
So many. And since I know that, but Ellie does not know that, because her power on her own changes things a little bit sometimes, I like to picture it almost as from what is it, Academy show? Fuck, what's not yours? Not yours. The other Umbrella one. The Umbrella one, not yours. Where it's the I heard a rumor, but instead it's just more like of a whisper through the halls of ISO. Just, I don't think he belongs here. You should take him outside.
And that whisper carries, and you see the two orderlies with Milo hesitate and one look at the other and say, yeah, we should take him to one of the interrogation rooms to be debriefed. And the other nods and says, yeah, that was what Dr. Foxglove said. Take him to the interrogation room to be debriefed.
In order
And you
to
see
so.
them both turn and start walking Milo back towards the door. Taking him out of this part, bringing him back to the rest of the unit. But Ellie, you notice that there's a look of their eyes being almost like glazed over. And you see that start to flicker. So you're not 100% sure if that's going to get Milo out of here and what's going to happen at that point, but you do know they're heading in that direction for this moment.
Okay.
One of the orderlies with you just asks, all right, Ellie, are you done? Are you done?
With what?
And they kind of pause with whatever was making it take all of this extra time for us to get you into the room.
I don't know. It's your job.
And then, like, what the other one who's also looking confused says, come on, we shouldn't be being hard on her. It's not her fault. Look, she looks really sick. Like, I'm sorry, Ellie. Yeah, let's get you. Let's
Aw.
get you in the room. You can lay down.
Thanks, I think. You could just not take me to ISO. If you felt bad for me, I could go to the nurse. A nurse.
We can send one of the nurses to you. And the other one says, there's no fucking nurses left, man.
I think right when he says that and it hits Ellie and the realization of the reminder of the viscera and all that stress just kind of implodes at one time and the adrenaline just drops at that one statement and she just pukes right there.
And
No
you know
warning.
what? I think that is a beautiful moment for us to go to break on. I think
Yeah.
that's
Oh, thank
perfect.
you. Wow. Yeah, wonderful. Ellie throwing up. It's par for the course.
And so we've had a time already tonight, but we're going to go away, take a break for about 10 minutes, come back, and fingers crossed, we will have our missing team member with us at that point as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
I'm just curious.
Why can't mine be guts anyways?
It can be
You
guts.
did say it's a
but
treat.
It
Guts
has
are
to-
a treat.
It
For
can be
hoops.
guts. It's just
Like,
what
what if
treat?
it's just a bunch of hit clips of Olivia Rodrigo's Guts album?
There you go. There
Alright.
you go. There it is.
But it's
I was
hit
waiting
clips
for it.
specifically. But shut the fuck up, Q.
Or what?
You're too far away now. Can't do shit.
Right.
I think. Come back to me.
I mean, did
The
you
question-
just
That
answer?
wasn't your final answer?
No, that's not my final answer. I gotta think about this.
For
Okay.
for chat purposes, the question is: if you were opened up like a pinata, what fancy little treat would come tumbling out?
Travel bottles of tequila.
Oh, nice.
Twizzlers. Yeah, treats. Sour candy.
Mm.
Mine would
Literally,
be-
like any sour candy.
Mine would be like miscellaneous cords. Like I have a lot of cables around, you know. Like here, let me. I've got RCA cables on my desk.
Cables can be
Amazing.
little treats.
Absolutely.
Okay, wait. I figured it out.
Okay.
Wait. Are we talking about like things that describe us, or is this like what we have laying around our house?
The question is all that you have. What little treats would come out of you if you were cracked open like a pinata?
But that doesn't. Well, Q said stuff that he likes, but Harp said things that are just in their house.
Okay.
Both
Then,
correct.
then interpret it the way you want, bitch. This
Do you
is
think
not...
I don't like cords?
Wow, that's crazy. Hey, Shona, that's
No.
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay,
I
I
love my
think
cords.
I had like a bunch of miscellaneous medical supplies that I take from the hospital.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that you're wrong about your own special treats. This is crazy.
They're in my house.
Okay. Anyway, LC would just crack open and be a bunch of little boo boos. Next.
Shut the fuck up. That's not fair. I wasn't gonna say it.
But why? That's
He's
true
right.
though.
Q's right, and he should say it.
I
And
didn't know.
and
You're a
did.
little boo bitch now, too, Kian. Shut your fucking mouth.
I have one, and it was a freebie from you. Don't even try to pin this on me. You gave
Right.
it to me.
You little coke dealer over there. I'm a pusher,
he-
Katie. I'm a pusher, head ass. See, exactly.
Harp, that's so many chords. That's so many chords you
got
just
it.
showed us.
I've got a
Harp, do they all work?
coaxial cable here. It's like what you used to use for the old TVs. Like
The old.
I got a whole TV here.
Oh
Amazing.
my god.
Amazing.
Right. What about you, Steph? You haven't shared with the
Because I've
class
been
yet.
thinking, because there's so many options. Oh my god, this is really hard. How am I supposed to choose?
Carefully.
Little treats. Probably. Probably like a bunch of the little like perfume bottles from Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab because I have way too many. Yeah. Yeah. I
valid.
like to smell cute. Maybe some jewelry too, because I like fancy. JD, was yours just gonna be like coffee and bones? I love
That or
it.
gay little twinks.
Wait, what were we watching? What were we watching? And we were watching Repo, and I looked at Keen and I said, "That's just a JDOC."
Which one?
It's the little guitar dude during the 17 song in her room.
Oh my
He
god.
plays the guitar.
So
That's so specific.
I need
Yeah.
everyone to know that the visual that I got from JD, when they crack open like a pinata, it's not like it's coming from the inside. It's just like tiny, like like the spider that when you hit it, a bunch of little itty bitty spiders comes out. So you hit the JD pinata, and all these little tiny twinks just sort of climb off of the top and scatter.
It's getting worse and worse and worse.
You mean the
Just
I
whack.
don't like because now I'm picturing them as little spider twinks, and I don't like that.
little twinks?
They just crawl like little crabs away.
It's little twinklets, yeah.
No, twinklets, no.
Little
Little
Yeah.
twinklets. That was
No.
perfect.
I don't want it.
You're welcome.
Well, now I'm laughing to the point that I'm crying, and I have to run this very serious game.
Oh, it's true. I'm so sorry.
Think evil thoughts.
Don't.
He has been.
Yeah, he's been real mean.
Yeah, listen,
been
I haven't
so
been here
nice
tonight.
to
So
you.
it's all new to me.
All
Oh,
right, well,
wow.
your
Great
turn
fun so
then.
far.
Buckle
Enjoy.
up. Buckle up, babes.
Buckle I'm a so. No tea. No sugar.
No,
No
Cocoa
cocoa
Puffs.
pops. I'm not meant for this life. I'm
I don't know what's
soft
happening.
life. I put
Soft
it in.
life, babes.
Soft
Ellie and
life
ISO.
vibes.
I put it,
Yeah.
yeah. I put it in the entropy content earlier today. It's a very funny meme worth a watch. I'm sorry, I'll shut up now.
You know, we need some humor in the midst of all of the horrors that are going on. And with that, taking a moment to collect ourselves and returning to the horrors. We're going to jump back in with you, Mara. You remember standing in the hallway, that moment where you saw that as the lights came back on, there weren't shadowy antler creatures or people there, but instead bodies, limbs, blood, viscera. And you don't remember much in the coming moments. You remember that your vision started to flicker, the edges going dark until there was nothing left but black. And when your eyes open again, you're not in the hallway. You're in a small, padded room with a mattress on the floor, and you are alone. You are still wearing the hemlock jumpsuit, and you realize very quickly that the jumpsuit and your body are still coated in blood. It has pooled over you, it is becoming sticky against your skin. And one thing you notice immediately, you don't feel your powers. There is a sense of emptiness there, of a lack there. And you realize that on your wrists, there are a pair of those same cuffs you'd seen before, those power dampeners that you were so desperate to get your hands on. They're now on you. What's going through Mara's head in this moment?
I think Mara was just like completely in shock the entire time, walking over, just staring at her hands, staring at the blood. I think upon like this kind of realization that for the first time in her life, outside of like a brief moment before, she doesn't have that. I think she starts to cry. And weirdly enough for the situation, I think it's like not a like I think it's like happy. I think she's happy right now. And then I think those like happy tears slowly transform into normal crying.
And the thing is, Mara, no one comes to the door of the room. No one steps into the room. You're just there for some time, left alone with your thoughts.
I don't think Mara gets restless. I think she calms down a bit, and then I think she just sits pretty silently up against a wall of the room.
What does Mara think about everything that just transpired? Does she think at all about what just transpired?
Mara can't avoid it, I don't think. Mara has. The whole reason she's doing everything is because she wants to not hurt anybody. And the first time she intentionally used her powers, she killed somebody. Multiple people, but one very directly. And so I think just for however long they leave her in there, she is just staring at the cuff with this mix of sadness and hopefulness and anger and a tiny bit of peace for as long as she's able.
I was considering, though I would not have done this to you if it would have put you at your 5th condition, I was going to say take guilty, but you already have guilty marked, so I do not need to ask you to do that.
I do, in fact, already have guilty.
Mara, I do have to ask, while you are sitting in that room, do you think at all about the others?
Yeah. 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 Mara doesn't know what they know. If Mara was being manipulated by anybody, if it was one of them somehow, she has a mix of sympathy and a lot of anger at I'm not going to name anybody in particular.
And Mara, you are given perhaps way too much time to reflect on all of this, to think about what just happened, to think about who is potentially responsible, who may have set you on this path, who may have encouraged this path.
I think towards the end, I know I said Mara would just stare for a long time. I think towards the end, Mara gets antsy after however long. Are there cameras?
There are.
I think Mara spots one and she has just been, instead of looking at the cuff, looking at it for the last however many minutes. I don't know the time frame. I'm sure Mara doesn't really know the time frame either. As if like to say like, come in here.
Mara, if if you are left there, because ultimately you're pretty sure it's not just minutes, but potentially hours, does there come a point where you say anything, or is it just that looking directly into the camera?
Yeah, I think she'll talk to nobody talk to somebody in particular, but at the camera just. You need to come in here and talk to me. And just staring further after that. Just saying things every once in a while. Not begging, but not threatening either. Just, I need to talk to somebody about something.
And we're gonna come back to Mara in a moment, but as these hours have gone on from the point that you were brought into the rooms in ISO, what do we see as we look at each of you, as we move to Connor's cell? Would probably be a slightly more appropriate thing to say than room. What do we see from Connor?
Just a mattress on the floor, right? Not even a sink?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He's been... Really? He's been in ISO before. So he's not new to this. So I think... he just rips the shirt off at the very least. Doesn't want the sticky thing on him anymore. It's easier to sort of manage. Yeah, I think just from the front pulls it. That's fine. I don't need that anyway. And then I think he'll just sit cross-legged, doing the breathing exercises and the meditation like Dr. Oleander taught him. The ones he learned and had gotten very good at to keep his anger under control.
Connor, does that control start to waver at all as the hours stretch on, or is this something that Connor is used to, having been in ISO before, knowing how long it can take?
It is something that he is used to. It is slightly altered based on the fact that he knows he's not the only one in ISO.
Mm-hmm.
However, he is part of the meditation is counting the time, giving anchor to his thoughts, his moments, and keeping track, because he doesn't want them to lie to him about that too, and he not realize it.
And Connor, it is easy for you to keep track of the time, to feel certain in how much has passed. And I think the only thing that does surprise you, given that you've been in ISO before, is you've never been in ISO for an incident like this. And they've often kept you here for several days. And so it is surprising that when only a few hours have passed, even if those hours feel like an eternity with nothing else to pass them but your own thoughts, the door opens and you see two orderlies there, not the same ones as before,
Mm-hmm.
ready to escort you to where you're not sure.
I think he stands up, just like from sitting, still holding his hands out like he's got them cuffed. Because keep up the charade. And will nod to acknowledge that he's ready to be led wherever they want to take him.
And before we start that trek, we're going to move over to Valen. Where is Valen at when we come back to them, as they've been in this room for some time now?
Do the cuffs keep our hands together, or are we able to separate them and they're on separate wrists?
They are on separate wrists.
Okay. Then I think at first Valen starts to fiddle with the cuffs. Tries to see if there's any way to get out of them, if there's any part that's loose, anything that looks like it could be pulled or twisted or tugged, to somehow make these things let go. But I think his hands are so unsteady and shaky that he's not making any progress. But it's giving him something to do. But when that doesn't work, Valen has always had people around to take his emotions out on. And right now there is only himself. And so I think there's a very quick realization of, I almost just died. I'm covered in all of this blood. I don't know what's happening. I'm completely out of control. Starts to like frantically wipe at his face with the sleeves of the jumpsuit. Eventually tries to like take that off, is crying and kind of grabs the sheet of the bed, balls it up, and kind of just screams into it, just trying to get some of that emotion out. Valen has been in ISO plenty of times before, but it has never felt quite this lonely. And he desperately needs somebody else to help him process what's happening, and he doesn't have that right now. And I think that there's a brief moment where he tries to think through, well, what would Connor tell me to do right now? What would Scylla say? What would Ellie say? What would Mara say? But he can't draw those connections right now. And the longer that the time goes, he kind of just wears himself out, finds a corner to kind of slink down into, wraps himself up in the sheet as best he can, and is just kind of has his back pressed to the wall, a little bit like a prey animal right now. Just feeling very out of it, very spacey, very disconnected from it all.
Valen, this might be a slightly strange role to ask you to make, and
Oh dear.
maybe I'll make this role for
Oh
myself.
dear. That's so much worse. That's so much worse.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
What are you doing?
Give me 1 second, because I did just
Oh.
spill my drink. Please just all scream at one
See?
another
See?
for a few
Karma.
seconds, and I'll be right
Karma.
back.
That is
You're
karma.
begging.
That is
That's what you get for
100%
being
karma.
mean.
So what the fuck?
Hey, everybody
Dude.
doing okay? Everybody
No.
all
Oh,
right?
man.
Friendly.
No.
I need everyone to big chill. I need everyone to big chill.
No.
Nope.
Harp's face
Nope.
right now is just us this entire episode. Like the fucking Paul Rudd smoking meme. That's yeah.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
Yeah, we're not having a good time, boss. I'm going to be 100 with you.
Yeah,
It's not
I can
great.
see that. I can see that.
They're trying to
I'm
lie
saying it,
to
Chief.
us.
What if they not tried to lie to us? This whole time has been like,
That's what Scylla's working